Good night and salam Sarawakians. You're now watching the latest English news updates. Good news for Sarawakians as Sarawak have been declared free of COVID-19 following the change of Kuching and Serian from yellow zones to green zones. According to the State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC), no COVID-19 cases were reported in the two areas in the last 14 days. The total number of virus cases in Sarawak remains at 681, while still having 10 active clusters so far. Thank you, fellow Sarawakians. Sarawakians have shown high levels of compliance with the compulsory rule of wearing a face mask.
State Deputy Commissioner of Police Dato' Dev Kumar says members of the public are well informed on the need to wear face masks, especially at crowded area, abiding by the ruling, with no compound issued to date since its implementation on August 1st.
Ya, nampaknya macam tu lah. Nampaknya mereka komplain mematuhi arahan memakai mask di tempat-tempat yang sesuai dengan orang ramai lah. Itu perhatian polis lah. Dalam sehari itu kita ada lebih kurang 100 lebih tim pematuhan pemantauan kita yang di Sarawak ni. So dalam kita membuat pemeriksaan lebih kurang 2,000 lebih permis lah satu hari. Ya. 2,000 hingga 3,000 lah yang tim pemantauan kita.
Members of the public welcomes the announcement by the federal government on the reduction price of the 3-ply face mask to RM1 a piece.
The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs says it is ready to further reduce the ceiling price to a lower level in the near future to help reduce the people's burden following the government's directive in making the donning of the face mask compulsory in public areas. As such, there have been a surge in demand for face masks in the market following the new ruling effective August 1st.
Personally, I think it's quite affordable. Even if like one box there's 50 pieces of mask, if there's RM1, then it's still like 50 ringgit per box. It's quite affordable. Because last time when I bought, it's like 90 ringgit per box.
Since the government wants to reduce the price of the mask, I think it would be convenient for people to buy because not everyone can afford an expensive price of mask, especially in the long run, since they are going to use it month after month. So that would be great for people.
Meanwhile, a check on the preferred mask types, the 3-ply mask tops the chart.
No, but I'll check for the BFE to make sure that the BFE is more than 95%. So I prefer medical disposable mask because if it's the fabric mask, I feel like it's not that clean to use. Yeah.
I think surgical mask is the most or the best preference at the time because there are some claim saying that fabric mask is not very suitable for people to use at the moment. So I think this one is more hygienic. Yes. And then we have a lot of supply for surgical masks at the moment, so it would be the best or great option at this time.
This year's state-level National Day celebration will take place in Simangang Sri Aman. Reporter Zarul Niza has all the details.
Terima kasih rakan setugas di studio. 31 Ogos detik bersejarah bagi rakyat Malaysia untuk memperingati perjuangan pemimpin dahulu dalam mencapai kemerdekaan. Tahun ini bertemakan Malaysia Prihatin, mengajak rakyat Malaysia untuk menanam semangat kenegaraan yang tinggi tak kala negara berhadapan pandemik COVID-19. Di peringkat Kerajaan Sarawak, Bandar Simangang Sri Aman telah dipilih sebagai lokasi sambutan pada 31 Ogos ini. Acara kemuncak akan menyaksikan Ketua Menteri Datuk Patinggi Abang Zuhari Tuan Haji Openg menyertai perarakan perpaduan bersama 250 peserta di kalangan para belia berjalan mengelilingi Bandar Sri Aman kira-kira 1.5 km. Pada malam 30 Ogos pula, diadakan Malam Mesra, ambang sambutan Hari Kebangsaan 2020 bertempat di Hotel Simanggang. Sudah pastinya amanat daripada Kota Menteri, antara yang ditunggu oleh rakyat Sarawak. Dan jangan lupa untuk saksikan secara langsung sambutan kebangsaan 2020 di laman Facebook TV Sarawak, UKAS dan Sarawak Event Channel pada 31 Ogos ini. Baiklah, itu saja daripada saya. Saya Zoniza bersama juru kamera Fikri Razak kembali ke studio.
Thank you, Zarul Niza, for the on-site reporting. Meanwhile, Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dato' Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, said the National Day celebration is a symbolic date that needs to be celebrated by all states every year. He said this is important for uniting citizens nationwide.
We must have one day to be accepted as our national day for all Malaysians. Walaupun di Sarawak kita banyak tarikh-tarikh lain, Hari Sarawak, Hari Malaysia dan sebagainya, kita tidak boleh lari juga daripada menerima pakai satu tarikh yang amat penting bagi kita. Saya selalu membandingkan ini dengan the date United States of America gains its independence. They have one symbolic date that is the 4th of July. The 4th of July. Kalau dia nak mengikut kehendak tiap-tiap negeri di United States, mereka ada 52 negeri. There will be this unity in United States. Sama juga di Malaysia. Kalau Melaya mahu 57, Sarawak mahu tarikh satu, Sabah tarikh lain, then there will be this unity. That is why we must have one symbolic.
The road safety improvement works on 2 road curves along the Bintulu-Miri Road next to Taman Bumiko Junction heading towards Jalan Tanjung is expected to be carried out by October this year. Major scope works for the project undertaken by the Public Works Department would be to widen and level the stretch and installing speed bumps to slow down the flow of traffic.
According to Transport Minister Dato' Lee Kim Shin, the junction was seen to be too narrow and dangerous to road users. Lee said a speed bump will also be added to slow down oncoming vehicles. Lee, who is also Senadin Assemblyman, said more traffic lights will be added around Riam area very soon.
3 Vietnamese on board a fishing vessel were detained by the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency Sarawak region during an operation dubbed Op Naga Timur or Permai on August 10. Tanjung Manis Maritime Zone Director Muhammad Aris Muhammad Kasim said the foreign fishing vessel was detained for encroaching into Sarawak waters and carrying out unauthorized fishing activity on Monday, about 33 nautical miles north of Tanjung City.
Upon inspection, the trio, including the skipper, aged between 90 to 54 years old, failed to produce any valid identification documents. The fishing vessel was seized while the 3 Vietnamese were taken to the Tanjung Manis Fisheries Development Authority of Malaysia Jetty to undergo COVID-19 screening by Health Ministry staff. The 3 Vietnamese have been detained by MMEA for investigation under the Fisheries Act 1985 for not having a permit to carry out a fishing.
The construction of the Unit for Other Religions Unifor complex is significant to showcase the state's uniqueness in terms of religious freedom, unity and harmony. Assistant Minister of Youth and Sports, Dato' Snowdan Lawan, in response to a statement by Youth Member of Party Sarawak Bersatu PSB, who claims that the 70 million ringgit complex was a waste of money.
Snowdan said the PSB Youth's rejection of the state government's contribution is akin to rejecting the uniqueness and freedom of religion in the state. It is instead a recognition of the unity and harmony of different races and religions in Sarawak. Snowdan also noted that the 1.2-hectare complex will become Kuching's newest landmark.
Various controlled items purportedly being smuggled to a neighboring country were seized on Tuesday. Goods seized comprised 84 packets of 1 kilogram sugar, 51 packets of 1 kilogram cooking oil, 18 bottles of 3.2 kilograms cooking oil, and 200 liters of petrol.
In a statement issued by the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KPDN HEP Sarawak received the goods worth of ringgit 874 at about 2:30 p.m. from the Surian District Police Headquarters. The case is being investigated under Section 21 of the Supply Control Act 1961. If convicted, an individual could be fined up to 1 million ringgit or imprisonment for not more than 3 years or both, while the company responsible could be fined up to 3 million ringgit. Meanwhile, Surian District Police Chief DSP Aswandi Anis, when contacted, said the goods were initially found unattended by the General Operation Force GOF during a routine inspection along the borders. Aswandi said no arrests were made during the incident.
Well, that's all the news for today. Thanks for watching. I'm Razi Ahmad for TVS News, anytime, anywhere.